God bless you guys. Thank you for tuning in. So let's talk about it once again. I'm super excited, a little bit emotional to be finally back, just recording and sharing what the Lord is doing, right? What the Lord has placed in my heart. And today, just different setting, just really want to talk from the heart, like just connect hopefully with some of you guys and be able to just share what God's been up to, right? Because the enemy's always up to something, but God is also up to something. So he never stops working, and that's really what I want to highlight. I think the testimony, I've always said that I think testimony is powerful. I don't think that we testify enough of God's goodness, and his word tells us, right? Me es conveniente testificar. I don't know how to say it behooves me, like it will be good for me. It will benefit me to testify of the Lord, of what the Lord is doing. And I always remember that text, and it's near and dear to my heart because I see the way that God moves in my life, and I am ever grateful to him, right? And I glorify him. But I'm like, how much more powerful will it be if I share what you're doing in and through me with others so that they can also glorify you? And it also reminds me of all the miracles and all the healing that Jesus did. I've been studying the book of Matthew for such a long time, and I'm so like in awe of all the stuff that he did, right? And I would just be amazed because when he would do something, it would say, and they gave glory to the Father. Like Jesus would do something, he would heal a man, right? And they wouldn't stay just stuck on the miracle, but the miracle, the response that it caused in them was, wow, glory to God. And that is the whole point of testifying. And why testifying? I feel like sometimes people are scared of like, oh, looks like I'm boasting. You're not boasting about anything other than the Lord. Like anytime that I share what the Lord is up to, what the Lord has given me, what the Lord is doing in my life, I'm not trying to shine a spotlight on the blessing, on what he has done. I'm trying to shine a spotlight on who did it, right? I'm trying to shine a spotlight on the Lord, because this is bigger than us, and this is not about us. This is about our life exalting God. And we do that when we testify and we share with others what he has done in our life. So I'm going to backtrack, you guys, and kind of do a little bit of that storytelling and that testimony so that hopefully you guys can also see through this testimony, through this story, just how the Lord shows up and how the Lord is forever faithful even when we are unfaithful. And he's just good. Like he's such a good father. So about a little more than a month ago, we were going to start, I believe. Yeah, I don't remember if we had started. We were about to start 21 days of fasting and prayer. During that time, not always, but at least the last time we did it, one of the things that I found super helpful was not just fasting from food, because I feel like that's what I've been taught for years, right? It's that, you just fast from food, you look for communion with God. I didn't just abstain from food. I started to look at what else do you want me to let go of during this period. And when I did the 21-day fasting earlier in the beginning of the year, I decided to fast from social media, entertainment, social media, TV, pretty much those things. And I found that the Lord revealed to me that TV had become an idol for me. It had become my comfort zone. It had become what I looked forward to most in my day, and it had become a replacement of my time of intimacy with him. So instead of me dying for the day to end so that I could get this quiet and alone time with him, I was dying for quiet and alone time with my TV, with Netflix. I wanted to Netflix and chill always before bed. And it started to turn into such an idol before those 21 days of fasting and prayer that there were times that I would lose sleep. Like I'm normally very routine, in bed by a certain time once my kids are down so I could get a good night's rest. And that wasn't happening. Like I would get hooked to a show, and next thing you knew, I would literally breeze through 8 episodes and it would be 12 o'clock, which is unusual for me. Like that is not a part of the discipline that I normally have. I'm normally like in bed 9, 10, the latest I'm sleeping. And I used to just watch maybe an hour of TV upstairs, come down in bed, that's it. No, I started translating that. I knew I had to eventually come to bed because when my husband wakes up, he wakes up early to go to work. Like, he likes to feel that I'm there. He sleeps better. So I would put the girls down normally and I would come to bed. But what started happening without noticing is I was so hooked to the shows that I started watching. It was different ones. It wasn't one particular. It was like anytime I would finish one, I'd be looking for another one to get hooked onto, right? And I would continue in bed just watching episode after episode after episode. And next thing you know, it was super late. And I didn't start to notice how that started to take away from my desire for intimacy with the Lord. So I would sometimes rush. I knew I needed to pray, right? And I know I should. There were times that I would kind of rush through that subconsciously, right? Because I wasn't like knowingly like, yeah, I'm gonna rush this. I know that's wrong. But subconsciously, like, the desire of my heart wasn't focused and dying for that moment. It was, okay, I'm gonna pray. And it became more transactional. Like, I'm gonna pray, I'm gonna do it because I know I have to do it. Once I do it, I can sit and chill and watch TV. And so during that fasting, the Lord revealed that to me, and how that was replacing him, right? And it was replacing my desire, and that what I should be looking forward to at the end of the day is that time with intimacy, right? And how that is just a better use of my time. It is something that is actually rewarding, and he should be the first person I talk to in the day, last person I talk to in the day, right? It shouldn't be the show. So that really broke that for me. But that's, a testimony in itself. Fast forward to now, these 21 days of fasting and prayer, I decided to just do the same thing again, because I felt like I was kind of getting sucked back into like that comfort zone. And I was like, Lord, like, I really, really want to seek you. Like, I do it, but I want to feel that desire, like, put that desire in me. And that was my prayer. And coming up on the 21 days of fasting and prayer, I think that the enemy knows the intent of our heart, right? And when we choose to honor God, when we intentionally decide, I'm going to leave these things and I'm going to sacrifice, and I'm going to obey, enemy's never happy with that, right? So fast forward to a random day. I want to say this was a Tuesday or a Wednesday. It was a normal weekday for me. I followed my normal routine. My daughter at that point was still in childcare, the big one. The little one was still home with me. It was a normal day. I was coming back home to do my workout, shower, start working. That day, I had my workout clothes and everything. We returned home, my youngest daughter and I, and I have to get to my garage. You have to pass by the laundry room. So as I'm on my way to the garage to work out, I'm talking to my sister on FaceTime. My daughter's there. And I'm like telling my sister, I'm like, I don't really feel like working out today. But if you know me, I'm that person that I'm just like, do it even when you don't feel like it. Like that, I'm a big proponent for that. Because you're not always going to feel like doing something. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do it anyways. But for some reason that day, like, I really knew it wasn't just like pure laziness. It was just and I thought about it, I contemplated it, but then that thought popped in my head, like, you should do it even when you don't feel like it. But then I looked at the laundry room, I looked at the laundry room, and I saw there was so much laundry, like 2 big old piles of laundry to fold. And so I thought, well, I already kind of don't really feel like working out. There's a ton of laundry that needs to get done. And in those couple of morning hours, if not the weekend, is usually when I have to try to get something done. Once I start working, that's it. By the time I'm done, I'm getting up, getting my kids dinner, and that's it. The rest of the day pretty much feels like it breezes by. So I did it. I was like, you know what? Grab the buckets of laundry. I start putting them in my room. I decide that's kind of where I'm going to set up shop. Sometimes I'll go up. But I decided to go to my room. And I remember just setting everything up, setting the iPad with some show or something for my daughter. Also put my phone on my stand so that my daughter can also talk to her Titi, because she loves that, having her aunt there all day on FaceTime, or used to when she was home with me, and then also watching a show or having something there. So I had both of them. I start folding my laundry, right? I kind of broke out of the norm, because normally during that time I would be in my gym working out, and I normally work out with my garage door open. I like the lighting from outside. I sweat a little bit more. I get to look out, and just really take in the day. And it was a nice day. And yeah, I decide not doing that. It's too much laundry, don't feel like working out. I prop myself in my room. I'm set up, right? And I'm folding laundry. And eventually, I'm hearing like really loud banging, which sounds like somebody is banging on my door. So I'm trying to like load the camera on my phone, but it's kind of slow, right? So, I go to the door and I kind of take a look, and I see that it looks like what I believed was one of my neighbors, who never really spoken to them before. But I opened the door kind of like hesitant, like I literally just cracked it. I mean, I'm from New York, I'm not about to just open my door. So she's with a little girl, and she I'll be honest, like she sounded crazy to me. Like I thought she was really crazy. She's like, there was a lady here with a gun at your door, and I talked her down, and she's like telling me these things. And at the time that she's telling me this, I am trying to fathom and process what the heck she's saying. And honest to God, I was like, all right, this lady's crazy. But at the same time, I was like, whether she's crazy or not, like, I was kind of like, she's telling me this and I'm ready to close my door. Like, okay, I'm going to verify this because I have cameras. So whatever, quickly close my door. I'm like, all right, thank you. Like, I didn't even ask questions. I don't even care. I don't even want to know. This already sounds crazy. I need to go and like double check what you're saying. So I obviously lock up my doors and everything. My daughter's kind of like crying and screaming crazily at that moment because she wants to see who's at the door, and I'm not letting her, right? Because I'm like, this lady, like I've never really talked to you, and she's telling me something really like concerning. I'm not gonna let my child out. So anywho, my daughter starts like crying, panicking, upset, right? Because I didn't let her go out. I'm making my way to my room, right? Because if what this lady's telling me is true, I don't want to be anywhere near the front of my house. And so I'm walking back to the room, and I'm telling my sister, like I'm trying to explain to my sister what I just received, and I'm trying to check my cameras. And when I look at my camera, the lady was telling the truth. I look at the video, and there is this lady with a gun in her hand, like in my door, and I see that my neighbor calls her over, and then I start to watch the video. So I told my sister, like I let her go. I'm like, I'll call you back. Or I think I switched the call to like the iPad, and I left her there, and I told her I was gonna call the cops. I first try to call my husband, he doesn't answer. I then call the cops. I explain to them the situation. They eventually come, whatever. Nothing happens, right? We can't recognize who this lady is. I'm watching the videos. I see she pulls up in a car. This lady probably pulled up to my house, no lie guys, like 10 minutes after I parked my car, came inside, went to the gym, decided I wasn't gonna work out, I was gonna do laundry instead, set that up. Like the window, I want you to understand the window of me getting to my house and her coming, how short it was. And the divine intervention of the Lord, right? So obviously this lady, I don't truly believe that she was looking for me or anyone in this home. We haven't even been here that long, but she sounds belligerent, right? She is cursing. She starts honking her in the video because I didn't witness any of this. She pulls up right in front of my garage. She starts honking really, really loud. Mind you guys, I didn't hear any of this commotion. Nothing that happened. I am telling you what I watched on my camera after the fact. But I didn't hear anything up until the point where my neighbor's banging on my door. That was the only thing that I experienced that day, like in face to face. As I'm watching the video, this lady comes in a black car and she's honking like crazy. And then she moves the car up a little bit more outside of, at that point, my camera's view. She walks up to my garage. She points her gun to my car and she said I should bust this window, yada yada. She continues to make her way to my front doorstep. Right when she's about to step to my door, that is when the neighbors with her granddaughter about to get in the car, and she starts calling her over. She's like, don't ruin your life. And she starts to tell her stuff, right? And she starts to tell them, the ladies, saying belligerent thing. You know what they do in this house? They've stolen my social security. And she just starts saying a bunch of stuff that obviously does not line up with us. Like, we don't know who this lady is. We haven't stolen anybody's social security. But anywho, the lady leaves. And that is when eventually the neighbor came, told me what happened. And I was just like, obviously it was very hard for me to go through that, if I can be honest, because I'm like, Lord, I know like you placed us here. Like this house was given to us literally by you. Like we didn't make this happen. You did. So we know we are where we're supposed to be. And sometimes when things like that happen, you're just like, why? Like, why did I have to go through this? And I remember that day for me really became a like before and after. And I get emotional because it's hard to replay this back, and it's why I hesitated in wanting to tell this story, because when you tell a story, you kind of have to relive it again. And I'm finally getting to the point where it's like I'm okay, and I'm getting past it. I'm overcoming what I experienced. And in the moment, it was really, really hard, and this was a lot for me to process. I remember I did not even think I signed on to work that day. The next days after that were incredibly difficult. My biggest thought was, I am here with my daughter always. Like, my kids, I don't really care like about myself. It's always my kids. And just the thought that at the time that this lady pulled up and that all of this happened, guys, I never really miss a gym day. I would normally be in my garage working out towards the front of my house with my garage door open. So had I been doing what I normally would do, this lady would have been pulling up, honking, coming at me with a gun, something I'm not expecting. So although I do have, also I bear arms, and I could have potentially, it could have been such an ugly situation, and God knows if I would have gotten a chance to defend myself from this person. So although it was so rough for me, I'm like, honest to God, the Lord knows, like, I just kept saying, like, Lord, I know you are my protector and you are with me, but how am I supposed to feel safe in my house? Like, I feel like my home was violated in a way. I feel like my safe space that we have created was violated. Like, I feel like somebody breached, right? And somebody trespassed and really violated that. Like, how do I know that this lady's not gonna come back? Like, I literally have no idea who they are. Like, what if I bump into them in the street? Like, there was just so many things going through my mind in those couple of days, and I felt uneasy. I mean, that first 2 nights, like, I'd be lying if I tell you, I didn't really sleep much. There's a lot of crying because I was just so overwhelmed, and I was just like, why? Like, why did this happen to us? And it's, you know, I try to say that to the officers, like, we're the most boring people you will meet. Like, we just moved here a couple years ago to this house just about a year ago. We don't know anyone. We talked to 2 neighbors. That's it. Like, we're a regular family. We're not out here doing anything crazy. Sundays we go to church. On the weekend we may see a family member. That's about it. I mean, I work from home. I even have a colleague I could have pissed off, like my husband. Nothing. Like, just no way in heck that we actually know this lady and she's actually looking for us, right? So you kind of think, like, you do all the right things and something like this still happens. So I was very emotional, very on edge the first couple of days, you know, and I'm just really asking for God's peace. I wanted to feel that, right? That peace that his word talks to us about, that surpasses all understanding. I was like, Lord, if there is a time that I need to be at peace, it is now. If there is a time that I need to remember and truly feel and believe that you are with me, that your angels are around me, that you are who keeps me safe, it's now. And, you know, I felt bad. I was like, do I not have faith? Like, I don't want to feel scared. And I had to remember, I'm human, right? I'm human, and in a way my home was violated. I was, you can say, targeted, even if it was, you know, not meant actually towards me. But the case of the matter was, what happened. And I was very not okay for, you know, those couple of days. But I also was like, wow, Lord, what you have saved me from and made known to me, because I do believe that the Lord shields us and saves us from so many things that you literally have no idea about. Like, sometimes it's an accident by making you 5 minutes later than you expected to leave. Like, that missed train, that missed bus, sometimes it's divine intervention. We have no idea what God shields us from on a daily basis. But that day I was actually able to witness literally his hand saving me. That desire of, I don't feel like working out, that pile of laundry that needed to be tended to, had I woken up ready to kick butt in the gym. Had I woken up and there was no laundry to do, Lord knows how different this story might be. Lord knows if I'd even be getting to tell you this story, right? So I honestly just saw, in the midst of all of the stuff that was going in my mind, I was very thankful and grateful because I saw the Lord's hand literally guard me. I was like, you know what it is for me? Every day I have the same routine, but that day I broke out of that routine, and that is what saved my life potentially. The Lord's divine intervention, because it was not in the plans, right? I didn't know what was going to happen, but God did. And so in the midst of that, right, I wanted to share how what his word says is so true. Everything the enemy meant for evil, the Lord will turn it. Do you understand? Like, I don't know if you do, but just thinking back at it, I'm just like, wow, God, your mercies are so good. Like, you know, sometimes when people just, I don't believe in God, I'm just like, how? Like, how don't you? Because, man, the way that I've experienced him, who he is, that was not coincidence. There is no way that was coincidence. No way. There's just no way that was coincidence. God gets the entire credit for me being here today and being able to tell you that story. And everything. The enemy maybe meant that to go a completely different way. The Lord turned it. And I was just like, how intentional are you, God, that the fact that I wasn't even in the vicinity to witness and hear the commotion and the stuff that was going on outside. Right now where I'm sitting telling the story, had I been here that day, had I decided to do laundry here, which sometimes I do because I have space here and I like to look outside. Had I been doing laundry here versus my room, which is super rare, I would have witnessed all of that. I would have seen that lady coming up. She would have probably seen me through the window as well. And I probably would have panicked. And my daughter would have also experienced that. Yet the Lord shielded me in such a way. Not only did he shield me from being where I normally would be, which I would have been, in a vulnerable place, right? Distracted because I'm working out. When this lady pulled up, not only did he take me away from there, but he also strategically had me go to my room where, guys, I'm not lying to you, I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear them arguing. I didn't hear the lady honking her car, as crazy as she was in the video. I didn't hear anything up until when my neighbor was busting on my door to tell me what happened. I was just like, Lord, wow, like, the level of your intentionality and your love and your mercy is just crazy and unmatched. I was in such awe of what the Lord had done, and I am just grateful. And although I hesitated to tell this story again because I didn't want to relive the events of that day, because it was very traumatic for me, although I didn't witness it. And that's also why I'm thankful to God, because I was like, if this was this traumatic to me without actually having witnessed, without actually having to like come face to face with this lady and have an encounter with her, imagine if I would have. Like, one, who knows if I'd be here? Two, who knows like what that would have done to me. But you protected me, you shielded me, and you really guarded me, like in every single way. You kept me, and I had to share that. I'm like, how could I not like give all the glory, all the honor to God, who allowed that the enemy meant to destroy me, to take away my peace, to disrupt me, right, in preparation for those 21 days of prayer, to distract me, whatever. The Lord turned it for my good. And the Lord helped me see his divine hand, which I am forever thankful for. And that is why I had to share this story, because as crazy as, whoever knew at the time thought, you don't know what it's like to experience something like that unless you experience something like that. You don't know what it's like to kind of come close to death until you do. And I know that sounds a little bit dramatic, but that's how I feel. The worst could have happened, but didn't. But God. And that is why. That is the whole theme here. But God. Like, I want us to just see that the enemy, that dude is working. Like, he's always working overtime. He knows that he has been defeated, but he still continues to try, right, and just gain territory And he tries so many things, but God, like, God is always fighting for us. God is always in our corner, and we need to testify and speak up more about the little and the big things that the Lord does through us and for us. And I really just wanted to give him all the exaltation that he deserves, because what he has done is just crazy. It's unmatched, and I felt that peace that I prayed for. It didn't come day one, didn't come day two. It took a while, but I'm at peace, you know. It's not because of time, but it's because of God. God has really just solidified me on him, on his word, and has shown me he is for me. Who can be against? I have nothing to fear. He is my rock, the rock on which I stand. And shortly after that, I was like on a Wednesday, I started to experience this pain, which I had for some time on and off, but it started to kind of, I think the stress of everything really exemplified it. And it was like starting from like my rib cage all the way down to like my uterus. And yeah, I was postponing it. I didn't want to go to the doctor. I didn't want to sit there for hours. Friday, I finally decided I'm going to go. I finished work, grab my kids, tell my husband, all right, I'm going to go. And I sit there, and they're like, all right, we're going to run some tests, you know, see if maybe it's your appendix, because it's my right side. I was like, okay, cool. I was making plans with my friends. They're supposed to come over. They're supposed to have pizza. I was not expecting at all for it to be anything. But, you know, I've learned it's better to check and be told you're good. Or here's some pain pills than, you know, to ignore it and it be something bigger. So I went anyways, right? I almost wanted to leave because they had done a scan, whatever it's called, and it was going to take a while. First of all, the scan itself for it to happen took a while, and then I had to wait for the results. It was like another hour, so I'm there for like 4 hours at this point, and pain had gotten better, so I was kind of like, yeah, can I just go, come back another day when I have more time, because I really wanted to hang with my friends. But the doctor really told me the signs really do look like it's your appendix, which, you know, can be deadly if it's bad. So, you know, please, if you can, stay. So I was like, you know what, fine. He told me within the next hour we'll do a scan. Scan gets done, I wait. They tell me, yes, like it looks like early appendicitis. It's actually a good point that you came, right, when it's not super bad, ready to blow, could be worse. We're going to transport you to the hospital so you can have surgery. It's very much like, OMG, like this is not what I was thinking when I came here. And, you know, day goes on, whatever. Thank you, God, for very supportive friends. I came through, quickly grabbed my kids. My husband was able to be there for me. And I've never gone through surgery, guys, never been put under. Like, the closest is giving birth, and I've been natural birth, really easy births, nothing complicated. So I've never really had anything traumatic, nothing. Like, I've never broken a leg, an arm, nothing, guys, literally nothing. And so I'm there, right? And I'm kind of just like, I'm still dealing with everything that just happened 2 days ago. So I felt like I would put music. And I was also I felt through a spiritual season of like dryness, kind of when you feel like you're going through the desert. It's like, I know God is there, but I don't feel like praying. I'm doing things. I'm performing. I am doing what I know I have to do. Like, I'm doing the prayer things I know I have to do, but I don't feel like doing any of these things. I'm reading my Bible because I know I have to do it, but I don't have that desire. I'm not serving you the way I want to serve you. I was really going through that in that time. And I remember my husband told me, like, you know, get off the phone, and, you know, this is a time where you should really be praying. And I spent a lot of hours by myself, guys. I spent a lot of hours where I had time to reflect, and I just kept saying, Lord, my life is in your hands, you know. Help me make it out of this. The prayer that you would expect to be prayed during a time like that, but I couldn't pray beyond that. I felt like I couldn't fully connect. I felt like there was a block. I felt like there was something, and I would try, right? I would make the effort. So I would just put music, and I would contemplate on the words, and I would sing along. And that really did help me. And I remember I felt like sometimes it's when you're, you know, in marriage, you might have seasons where you don't feel connected. You don't just sulk in it and be like, oh, we're growing apart, and just let it be that. No, you make an effort, you know, to feel that togetherness again. And I felt like that's what I was trying to do. Like, Lord, I don't feel that burning desire, but I'm gonna work for it, right? I'm gonna work to keep this romance going. And that all happened. My recovery was rough, honestly. I've never been put under, so it could be that. But I experienced trouble breathing, severe chest pain, back pain, neck, and just everything that you could think of. It's really, really hard for me. And everybody kept telling me, like, that's odd. Like, I've had that done and I didn't go through that. That's just what everybody kept telling me. And it wasn't reassuring because I really thought like something had gone wrong because I was having all these different side effects that other people that had had their appendix removed hadn't gone through. But even in that, like it taught me to really just trust in the Lord and that He has me. And I was, again, eventually I was okay. I recovered well. It forced me to rest mentally and physically, which I think I really needed more than I thought I did. During that time, I also had my in-laws. Right after they left, my parents were here. I feel like because all of that kind of happened together, I had no time to process emotionally what I had gone through. The dry season I was going through, the recovery from my surgery. Recovering from my surgery physically also played a toll on me mentally. I was so upset because I had worked so hard. I was finally at a great place where I felt with my body, and to do that, they fill up your stomach with gas. So I literally told my husband, I was like, and my sister, I was like, I literally look like after I gave birth to my first daughter, which was super upsetting to me. Like all this extra weight, all this extra pounds. And I know it sounds kind of silly, like, yeah, girl, you just had surgery. That's what my sister told me. But it was very real to me. And it was a really big fear of, oh my God, that the surgery just set me back all the progress that I've been working towards. You know how hard it is to lose a pound? And that's just how I was feeling. I was just like, if I looked like this and felt like this, but I had given birth and there was a cute little baby to look at, I'd be good. But all that happened was a body part was removed that I didn't even need to begin with. And then I looked like this. It was just so much. And I feel like the enemy was just really trying to use all of this stuff, like the busyness of people being here, how I looked and felt, the fact that I couldn't really fully enjoy what activities we were doing because I'm here recovering, couldn't pick up my kids, couldn't work out, which I love to do. It was a lot. And then again, all of this happened right after such a traumatic event, so I didn't get to fully process, right? So I feel like once everybody left and I was back to just, in my home with my family, really was like, all right, Lord, the busyness is done. It's out the window. Please help me get back. And it is now that I can testify of His goodness because I've been able to kind of process all those unprocessed emotions and really sit with the Lord. And then I'm starting to see the light right at the end of the tunnel and getting out of like that dry spell, that dry season. And I'm not saying it's all perfect now, right? I'm always transparent. I still struggle. I still ask God, put that burning desire. Like, I want to feel it. Like, I want to spend time with you. Like, really want to spend time with you. Like, I want it to be what my soul really wants. I know that our flesh is contrary to the spirit. So I don't expect my flesh to literally want to be kneeled down, soaking in His presence. But I do want my soul, my spirit to desire that. And even if I don't, I'm going to do it anyways. Because I know that it's good for me. And I still need to work at my relationship with the Lord, right? Even if I don't fully feel like, 110%. As I would in my marriage, right? Every day I'm not gonna wake up feeling like, oh my God, I butterflies, but I still need to love my partner and I still need to be the best wife that I can. And I see my relationship with the Lord the same, still working at it, but we're getting past, that dry spell slowly and surely. But I wanted to share and talk about, God's goodness with you guys and how crazy story, right? Crazy things that happen sometimes, and really just kind of, it seems like a step back, which is how I felt, right? I'm like, I'm not recording any content, right? I wasn't in a space where I felt like I could. What the heck am I going to talk about when I'm going through all of this? But all of that was with purpose. Like, the Lord uses everything for our good. And in that, although I didn't see it at the time, the Lord was brewing a testimony, right? Of His faithfulness, of the way that He cares and loves us, and how that, everything that the enemy meant for evil, the Lord will turn it. The Lord uses it for our good. And that is why today I'm able to testify, because of all those things that have transpired. I'm able to say, but God. The enemy meant all of that to destroy me potentially, but God. All of that together to really just make me be like, Lord, where are you? But God. How could I say, Lord, where are you? I saw him every step of the way. The way he was there for me, the way he affirmed me, the way he kept me at peace, not just out of harm's way, but he kept me at peace in the midst of all that was going on, in the midst of not understanding why. He let me know, I'm here. I see you. I hear you. I know, and I am for you. So I want to remind you today, and I want to encourage you that the Lord loves you. I guarantee you that. Sometimes we just don't allow ourselves to experience his love and his care, but he wants nothing more than to care for you, than to show you that love. But we need to be the ones to receive it and embrace it. So I want to encourage you, draw close to him, because he is near. He is near, just waiting for us to draw close to him and start to see the way that God is intentional throughout every season of your life, in the little things, in the big things. Start to see, wow, Lord, that was you. And thank him even for the things you don't see, because like I said, there's so much that the Lord shields us from and guards us from. We don't even know. We have no idea. But when the Lord does all these great things, I also want to encourage you, let someone know. Testify of his goodness. Testify of his faithfulness. Because through your testimony, he receives the glory. We shine a spotlight not on what he's done, but on who he is. And that is what I want to do today. And I want to encourage you to look up at him. He who loves us, he who is faithful, and he's always looking out for us. He's always making sure that all turns for our good. So God bless you guys. I love y'all. Pray for me. I will keep praying for y'all. And may the Lord continue to use me, my mouth, and continue to place things in my heart to share with you guys. Thank you guys, and God bless you.